Alright guys, today we are doing the generator carburetor. It's Briggs & Stratton p2000. I haven't done one of these yet, but by looking at this choke assembly, I'm believing this is going to be exactly the same as Honda EU 2000. First thing we're going to do is take these two Phillips head screws out. So yeah, this is the exact same setup as a Honda EU 2000. That's cool. But this thing's cheaper too. Probably an aftermarket remake of it, but it's going to be the same carburetor and everything. We're going to go ahead and take the Phillips head out for this air filter cover now. Take out the air filters. Now there is an 8mm here, 8mm here, and an 8mm here. Take those three out. It just pulls right out, and then you got a tube right here. Make sure you go ahead and remove the tube. I guess I'm going to need a pair of pliers and two hands. Looking at the back of this thing, I'd have to say this sat for quite some time. It's got mud daubers in the back of it. Alright, so okay, so this fuel line goes to a fuel pump. So we're going to have to go ahead. I just had to check, make sure it wasn't gravity feed. So we're going to take this cap off. And then I've got it up on a table. I'm going to put a container down on the ground there. And I'm going to drain all of the gas that's in there out. Here, let's see what it looks like in there. Yeah. So it's even starting to corrode in there. I'm going to spray a bunch of seafoam in there. Just kind of try to get the tank a little coating of oil while I'm working on it. That can absorb into the tank, kill the rust a little bit maybe. Seafoam. You can take the tank out, dump OSPO in it, OSPHO. Shake it up real good, then rinse it out with water really well, dry it with an air hose, and then spray the oil in the surface all around, and that'll kill the rust as well. But I'm not going through all that. I'm going to do this little oil in there and let it sit, and it should sink right into the pores of the metal so that the rust doesn't happen as bad. This is just from where it was sitting empty for so long. All the gas evaporated out of it and it sat empty and started corroding. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and take the fuel line off. The fuel line off, and it doesn't appear that I even got a drop of fuel through that fuel pump. I'm going to have to check all that out and put some gas in it and pull it over until this has gas come out. But first we're going to go ahead and do the carburetor. So you don't have to take this electrical part off. On the Hondas at least, there's no plug. Yeah, on this one there's no plug either. There may be a plug down there somewhere, but I'm not digging in there deep enough to find it, So I'm just going to pull it off and then flip it upside down. Now we'll just take that 10mm off. So this is going to be a bad one. I actually had to stick a screwdriver in the holes for leverage to be able to break this free, to get this nut free. And as it's coming out, I see dust coming out. It's going to be a bad one. This thing had water in it, that's why it's all rusted up. It's not even wanting to pop free. You just keep tapping it with the back end of the screwdriver until it pops free. To get it to pop free, you don't want to damage the O-ring or you'll have to replace it. And I don't want to have to replace it. It is sticking to it hard. I'm going to need two hands to see it sticking to the top and then sticking to the bottom here. I think this is going to stay to the bowl. Most of these you're not going to have this kind of an issue with. because they aren't going to be this badly neglected. This is probably the worst I've seen one in a long time. Especially, this is a brand new machine. I haven't even worked on one of these yet. That's how new these are. So we probably aren't going to have this issue. This guy just severely neglected his equipment. Isn't that fun? I mean, it's just chunks of metal, rust from inside this bowl. Just chunks. So we're gonna scrape all this out with a screwdriver. God, man, you know, I am not sure that this is gonna be rebuildable. I don't know if this has gone through or not. I'm gonna have to check it and see. All right, let's go ahead and scrape her all out and find out. So I'm letting that soak. I got some diesel fuel in it. Spray this down real good. We got to basically try to get this pin right here out and get the float off. You look inside, you can't even, the needle valve is just completely clogged, or the needle valve, the main jet is completely clogged. So we got to try getting this out and getting this float and everything out of there. Float needle valve pin out. We got a chance of saving this. This, on the other hand, I'm gonna see if I can find another one, maybe a used one off my shelf somewhere. Alright, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna try to take a small pick and get some of the debris in this jet knocked free. We gotta try to get that jet out. So I broke through it. Here, let me get this flashlight on. So I broke through it where you can see the jet down in there. So I'm going to spray it out with some carb cleaner now and get all that rinsed out. Then I'm going to put some acid in it. I'll put that in the description below as well, both carb cleaner and the acid. But here, I'm going to blow it out with carb cleaner, and then I'm going to show you the acid. So we got the jet kind of exposed. I'm going to put a few drops of acid in there. We'll let that heat it up. Don't use any acid. This is 14 karat gold testing acid. I've tried all the other ones. Some eat the aluminum up, some eat the brass up, some don't do anything. Don't use just anything. I tried a million different kinds. This one works. I'll put it in the description. It's cheap. I can clean 50 carburetors with one bottle. Don't get it on your hands, it'll burn. You know, just rinse out with water if you do. Don't get it in your eyes. Wear safety goggles, you know. We're gonna let this simmer in there. And that's gonna break all that crusty stuff up, hopefully, to where we can get this jet out of there. And once it stops simmering, which it's kind of at the end of its simmer, you take and slowly rinse out so you don't squirt yourself in the eyes or anything. You get this carb cleaner in your eyes, it's gonna hurt bad, but it's not gonna mess you up permanently. You just gotta stay calm, let the burning stop. It will go away. Blink your eyes a bunch, but try to keep it open. Try to get it to evaporate out as fast as you can. All right, so that looks like, see, it's gotten it nice and clean in there. So now we're gonna get a screwdriver in there and pull this jet out. Number 2 screwdriver, and I ground down each side to make it thinner. You know, just you make it to the thinnest part of the screwdriver, and it should fit in there rather perfectly. So I'm gonna pull this out. It's not letting it come out, so I'm gonna have to clean this while it's in there. So I'm gonna hit it with more acid, because you got to keep going until you can spray through where it'll come out. You'll see it coming through the orifice tube on the other side. See the right down in the middle there, right behind this flap here. You'll see another brass piece. That's the orifice tube. That's where it's got to come out of. So we're gonna keep working it with acid and carb cleaner. Put more acid in. I'll find a new carburetor. You may need to swap the electronic piece off of this one onto the new one. Usually this is much easier. Usually I can just do what I'm doing right now, put a couple drops of acid in there, spray it through, it's clear, there isn't a bunch of shit, and it's done. This one's going to take quite a bit of extra work because this got really neglected. I'm actually probably going to end up replacing this thing anyways. I'm just showing you the process, you know, what to do. This, you can do a couple drops of acid in it, but you got to rinse this part out right away, or it'll etch the brass and your needle valve won't seat. See, though, this is clogged, so it should have been coming out of that, but it's not. There it is. So we're gonna have to do that more. Slowly rinse this again. And then I'm gonna grab it with my hands and I'm gonna try to clear it again and see if it'll go. It's not leaking through it yet, though. You see it's still just puddling up in there. Trick, a small wire. This is an old throttle cable and we push it through, but a wire wheel works really well too. If you pull a wire out of it with a pair of pliers, it's the same. It has to be really small. It has to be a wire wheel wire, or you know, it has to be a very thin, strong wire, because this jet is not that big. And then try to poke it through. Oh yeah, there we go. Broke through that. So now that's draining through. Let's put some more acid in it, see what happens. See, that time the acid went right through it. Nice. Might be able to save this piece of stuff anyways. Alright, now that that's doing its job there, we've got two more brass pieces here. We got this one here and this one here. We're going to dump some in. Those are the idle circuits. And dump some acid in those. Let them simmer and boil, churn. This one looks like it's clogged. Poke it through the wire. Yeah, that helped. And then we're going to spray it all out when it's done simmering. Everything seems clear. Look how nice and shiny that jet is now. Same with these guys down here. I'm gonna go through everything one more time because this guy was a freaking mess. So I just want to really make sure that I got it good and clean. Now those three spots are the main spots you're looking at. Those three spots are always the biggest issue. That's the part that stops us from running. That's why you got to take a carburetor off to actually do it. You can't just pop the bowl off and think you're going to rinse the bowl out. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes you'll get lucky, highly unlikely though. Alright, we're going to rinse all this out, and then we're going to make sure everything's good and clean. Make sure the float, the needle valve is very clean. No, it's totally wrong. It's way bigger. It's close, but way bigger. Yeah. It doesn't matter. This thing leaks like a sieve and shit anyway, so I'm gonna have to. I got no choice.
So I'm taking my board back and I'm going.
Yeah. Air filter back in place, clean. And then the air filter cover, put it in place. We're gonna go ahead and put the side cover in. These two fit in the bottom there like so. Get it in, tighten it down, and then you're ready to go. Unfortunately, this one's not ready to go. I gotta order the carburetor. But you get the idea. I've showed you everything you need to clean, what you need to do to make it run and be right. Again, everything will be in the description below. Anything you'll need for this job, including a new carburetor. Today's t-shirt will be in the description below as well. If this helped you in any way, shape, or form, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. If you want to be a sponsor, you want me to wear one of your t-shirts, mail me some. I need sponsors.